All right, this is Brian Smith, and I am joined by Hilton Stubbs. We are going to talk a little recruiting. We're going to talk some football training, talk what it's like to be a football player here in the state of Florida. He hails from Jacksonville, plays at Mandarin High School, and he's one of the top prospects in Florida for the class of 2025. Free safety, strong safety, receiver. He could probably play some slot. He can do a little bit of everything. Thanks for coming on the show. What's
Yes,
going on, man? How
sir.
you been?
Great, great. How about you?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. Hoping that this off season goes pretty well for myself, just like you guys. And it's nice not traveling quite as much right now. I've traveled enough to see you guys all around the country. I
Yeah.
know that.
That-
Um, you got any camps or anything coming up? Or are you done for the summer except for your own personal workouts and whatnot?
no, I'm going to FSU on the 10th, and I'm going to Alabama on the 12th, and then that'll probably be it for the summer. But I'm definitely going to the OT7, and I'm going to the All American thing at IMG. So
Okay.
my
Oh,
summer
there
is
you go.
it's pretty. There's a lot of stuff right going on right now.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound like you're going to be sitting in Jacksonville, Florida very much. So
Yeah.
good for you for staying active, though. That's good, man. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Um, growing up in Jacksonville, you and I talked a little bit about this off the air before we get into the recruiting too heavy. What was it like, and what was it that kind of got you to want to play football? Because you're a great athlete.
Well,
You
my
have over
dad.
20. Your dad? Okay.
Yeah, he
What
always
what did
he
he
always
do?
a football dad. Like my brothers, they all played football, so it was just in me to play football. That was no choice.
Okay. Did they like push you into it, or was it like they were around doing it and you just saw it? And it's
Yeah,
like, hey man, I want to be a part of this.
yeah. I grew up around it like my whole life, and it felt like this is where I needed to be. Honestly,
Okay. What year did you get involved in like quote unquote organized football? Was it like fifth grade or like how old were you?
no, I was like 5.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. So you
yeah.
were like the
I tried.
little Pop
I was
Warner
playing
and all that.
soccer. Yeah, I was playing soccer at like 5, and I wasn't too good at it. And my brother was playing football, so I played football, and I actually played up. I played with the 6 and 7 year olds when I was 5. They let me on the team, so it was pretty cool.
So
And
it
that was when
started
I
very
was
early.
yeah, I was actually living in Virginia at the time.
Okay. When did you get over to the state of Florida?
Second grade.
Okay, so well, most of your upbringing still and most of your mentoring has happened within the greater Jacksonville area, I would assume. So,
Yes, sir.
um, what's it like? The competition in Jacksonville, I know from just covering it, is really good. But what's it like competing week to week? Mandarin, Oakleaf, TC, Bowls. There's a lot of programs in that area they've had a lot of success over the years. What's it like knowing that every week you're going up against somebody on the other team, even if it's a mediocre team? Most of there are some teams that aren't very good, but they still got Power Five guys.
Yeah,
What,
it's crazy. Like you honestly never know what's gonna happen in the game because like it's a lot of balance. It's a lot of balance in Jacksonville right now. So like we don't really know like who the best, but we got a good perspective on who's the best in Jacksonville right now. But honestly, it's always up and down.
well, there's a team like Ed White could be 500 one year, but they might have two or three guys that get recruited. So for
Right.
people that don't know, because Jacksonville is a little more remote compared to like where I live, close to Orlando and of course South Florida, there's a lot of ball players in that area. So I know you're getting competition each and every week.
Yeah.
Next up, what are you trying to do this summer? Obviously, you said you're going to FSU in Alabama. You're going to the camp or whatever at IMG. What are you trying to do on your own to get better? And what can you share with some young kids that you were once like them to like this is what you have to do to end up getting recruited?
Honestly, just working, trying to just be the best at everything, competing. Because when coaches look at you and you see you're not competing, they kind of X you out. So honestly, competing is like the best thing you could do in front of a coach. Like compete, get the most reps you can, take the most reps, because that's what the coaches love. Honestly.
I think it's interesting when I go to a lot of camps, you'll see a handful of guys that are obvious talents that go to the front of the line to start, but then you see guys that aren't real sure and they stay at the back. And I'm like,
You
you
can't
have
do
no
that.
chance. Yeah, I'm not going to write about you if you don't go and do live reps and one on one. I don't care what you did in drills. You got to do one-on-one. So that is very sage advice. For younger kids out there, if you're not trying to get towards the front of the line,
Just
you're not going to get off.
Don't even bother. Like,
yeah, I totally agree. So that's a good point. Lastly, recruiting. You've got over 20 offers. You've been, offered by Georgia and Florida State and Florida, all these different schools. What was your first offer and what was your first thought when you got an offer to play college football?
My first offer was actually like South Alabama. I was at a 7-on-7 with my coach Harrison, and one day he called me and he was like, I forgot what coach was it. It was one coach at South Alabama, and he put me on the phone with him. He was like, "We like how you look. We love your size. We love your film." Because I actually started as a freshman at Oakleaf, so it was like I had a pretty good film as a freshman. So that's when they just pulled the trigger on me. They said they were gonna offer me, and I was like, "Wow, that was my first one." I was like, I was mind blown because I was in class and I had to go to the bathroom to get the call. So it was crazy, honestly.
Well, that's a cool feeling, man. I mean, there's only one time you get your first scholarship offer, so congrats on that. What was the first school from the Power Five that offered you, like an ACC or SEC, something like that? Who was it?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Okay, Lane Kiffin and the guys. How old were you? Was it within the last year? Like when did Ole Miss offer?
It was like last year spring. So I was like,
oh wow, it's been a full year then. Okay,
15.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Kiffin offered some kids early. He trusts his own evaluations. So
yeah,
that's interesting. You've played mostly safety, correct? At the high school level. I mean, you've played other spots, but safety is the primary spot for you?
Yes, sir.
Is that what most schools are going to project you at? Like, do they think you're most likely going to end up in the back end of their defense?
That's what I'm thinking. But when I'm going to these camps, I'm showing them that I can play corner and safety. So they like me at both places. So I'm thinking they think I can play everything. But they like me at safety a lot though, because I'm a big body.
Absolutely, length and size matters at DB, no question. Distance from home. When it comes time to make a decision, will that play a role in your final choice?
It may play a role, but not too much. I'm focused on something different. I'm trying to go to the league. So whatever gets me there, and whatever was the best place for me, I'm gonna choose. Get all the experiences I can, so I can choose the best place.
There you go. As far as recruiting goes, you still have a handful of offers you want, and I know you're a guy that grinds. What is it that motivates you the most, though, to get better between like now and this upcoming season, not only to impress scouts, but just to be a better football player?
Honestly, just getting faster, growing. I don't really know, but just working, honestly, because I like to work, honestly. So when you're working, it just when you get better, there's no feeling like that. When seeing you did a bad rep and now you're doing good reps. So that's how I feel.
Self-accomplishment is definitely something I enjoy too, so I can relate. Last question for you. You're going to be playing on a loaded Mandarin team this year. It helps because, the old saying, iron sharpens iron. Practice, you're going up against Jamie French, guys like that. Jamie's one of the best players in the country in your class too. What's it like when you have that opportunity? Again, this is back to the point about Jacksonville is a pretty darn good city for football. Yeah. What's it like? I mean, a lot of people probably don't know that, but it really is. What's it like going up against guys like that? And how do you think that it personally makes you better?
Because like how you said, iron sharpens iron. So like when we're one of the two of the best people in the city. I mean, and we're going against each other. Everybody watching, so you gotta see who really good or who really like that. So you just gotta. It's always competition, and we got two corners that's committed to Penn State. So it's always competition. See who's gonna get the pick, or see who's gonna get the PBU, and see who's gonna make somebody fumble. So it's always competition in practice.
That's the way it should be, brother. That's the way it should be. Hang on with me here in just a second. I'll talk with you after we get done. But for those of you out there, please like this podcast, share it, hit that notification bell, and please comment. Let me know what you all think of Mr. Stubbs and everything that's going on in Jacksonville, because I know a lot of Jacksonville fans are out there. And please take a time to go out and see these kids play this fall. Jacksonville football is really good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.